Welcome back to It Didn't Work Before, but It'll Work This Time, as played out by the Democrats. If you follow any of the news, you'll have heard one spin or another, or one version or another of Russia is interfering in the 2020 election to aid Donald Trump. There are some that are saying they're interfering to help Bernie win the nomination, and of course it all comes back to because Bernie can't beat Trump. It is the same crap they pulled in 2016 that didn't work. It's the same crap they started prior to inauguration to demand an investigation that ultimately revealed no collusion, no evidence of obstruction. Even with Mueller trying he's not guilty, which is crap, and he ultimately backpedaled on that. Even with everything they've tried, they have nothing else to go on. Barack Obama interfered in an Israeli election because he did not want Benjamin Netanyahu in power in Israel. Now he failed, and of course the liberals said nothing about the President of the United States interfering in a foreign election, which is the absolute definition of foreign interference. And that's because Obama did it to get rid of someone who was very much the opposite of Barack Obama. We have states like Illinois, I believe Illinois, but I know California and now New Jersey, and a few others allow illegal aliens, and they will say undocumented migrants, but they're illegal aliens, to get driver's licenses. Famously, California also has the motor voter law, where the second you get a license, you're registered to vote. Very recently, after the 2018 elections, they legalized ballot harvesting. Quite literally, I found a box of ballots. Oh, they're valid. And they expect us to praise this crap. The very fact that we know there is voter fraud rampant in states that give illegal aliens driver's licenses and then immediately register said license holder to vote is the reason we have the Electoral College, so that one state cannot override multiple others. Los Angeles alone could negate the votes of 7 full states. Meaning, out of 8 states, it wouldn't matter if everyone in those other 7 voted Republican. It would go blue because Los Angeles voted blue. We have this because a concentration of one mindset in just a very few large cities should not rule the country. But Democrats know that as long as the flyover country bigots are allowed to have a vote, and allowed to actually have their votes count, they can't ever win full power. Donald Trump in the last 3 years has not had more judges confirmed than we ever thought would have. We have the USMCA, we have the ending of mass incarceration of minorities, we have people actually making more money, we have just one of the absolute best economies and societies we can have. I grew up in the 1980s. Now, I don't remember the first couple of years of Ronald Reagan's first term, but I do remember the last couple, and I remember his second term, and I remember that my parents weren't making a lot of money. By the time I was in elementary school, my little brother was very, very young, so my mother had quit her job as a state social worker and had become a full-time stay-at-home mom. My father, up until, I believe, 83 or 84, maybe 85, was a Santa Fe Railroad engineer. Not a bad job, but not high earnings. But we still took vacations. They still had a new car when they needed one or wanted one. We still had a good home, and it was a great economy. And then 1989 with Read My Lips, No New Taxes, and it started the downward descent. Then with Bill Clinton, it went further. George W. Bush didn't do much to correct it, but he at least stopped it until Obama. And you didn't build that, and it's time to tighten your belt. Notice that from 2009 to 2017, we had unemployment rise, use of food stamps rise, taxes rise. People were just suffering. Now that Donald Trump has turned all of that around, of course, Barack Obama is claiming credit for it. The only credit Barack Obama can actually take is, well, if I hadn't run the economy into the ground, you wouldn't have been able to make it a great economy again. And that should never be something anyone takes credit for, although Barack Obama spins it as if, well, anyone would be enjoying this because I built it. No, Barack, you didn't build it. You destroyed the economy as much as you could and were working tirelessly to ensure Hillary got into the White House after you said she wasn't qualified in 2008 so that she could continue to strip rights away from citizens and more and more. We're going to see Democrat after Democrat after Democrat and Bernie harping on Russia, Russia, Russia for the next several months. I personally expect them to try and have Trump removed from the ballot. Well, Russia's interfering, so he shouldn't be allowed to run. And then when someone says prove it, no, he has to prove they're not. Democrats have officially become the I will accuse you of whatever I want to accuse you of, but you have to then prove the negative. You are guilty until proven innocent in the eyes of a Democrat, unless you are a Democrat, and then you're innocent. No one may ever accuse you of anything. It's insanity is what it is. It is, as I've said in many videos, the world that Orwell, Huxley, and Bradbury warned us about. And sadly, we have too many people who have read 1984, Animal Farm, Brave New World, and Fahrenheit 451 and said, these are great ideas, we should do this. And now we have teachers who are indoctrinating students to believe if you're not a Democrat, you're an evil Nazi. Pay no attention to the Democrats beating the living tar out of people for a hat. Personally, I don't see anyone but Bernie or Joe getting the nomination. And when they do, it will be Bernie, I'm going to raise your taxes to give you free crap, Sanders, or Joe, I don't know where I am right now, Biden, and it will be a landslide for Donald Trump. And as soon as that happens, the Democrats will start harping on Russia, demand impeachment, they'll fail again, and they'll cry as the economy continues to get better. I really hope that, unlike the 1980s, we don't see 12 years of Republicans and then, well, let's hand it back to the Democrats. They can't crash the economy. And lo and behold, they will. People need to wake up to the simple fact that liberalism and socialism go hand in hand. And their goal is to subjugate the people that they are elected by. Until they're no longer elected by them, they're just in power until they decide they don't want to, which would be never. But I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think. As always, keep it civil. We want a debate, not a screaming fit argument. Please also remember to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you're the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.